Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. I am here with my first class of Just Do You. I'm excited and I'm nervous. I'm a little shaky, I gotta admit. I'm gonna do a demo for you first because I'm a science teacher, right? Or I was a science teacher. And you know how much I like to play with fire. So I have a candle. And this is actually a demo that I used to use in Earth and Environmental Science class and in astronomy. And it was to show you the high heat capacity of water, which means it shows you how much heat water can take in and redistribute because of those hydrogen bonds, but that goes too far into it, so I'm shutting up. And I would blow this up. Remember, some of you do. Some of you never seen this, so that's why I'm doing it first episode. I want you to see it. It's one of my favorite demos. Okay, this would represent just planet Earth. And this candle would represent the sun. And I should have goggles, safety goggles on, safety first. If I was in school, I would. But I'm just in my backyard, so in my little office, so I think I'm okay. I will shut my eyes, I guarantee it. But I'm going to show you what happens, what would happen to our planet if we did not have the ocean and the atmosphere to take some of the heat of the sun for us. And y'all, it's important to remember that there's so much more radiation to this than we can actually see, but we know it's there. It burns our skin, right? So I'm doing this demo to kind of talk about things that we know exists and that we truly believe in, but we just can't see, right? So this is Earth, this is the sun, no water. You know what's going to happen. I'm closing my eyes now. Here we go. It lasted longer than I thought. Wow. It didn't make a loud noise, but look, the CO2 from the candle, from the balloon, blew the candle out. So I got to relight it. Okay, more fire. Second part of this demo. I'm not showing you planet Earth this time. I'm showing you your physical body. This balloon represents your physical body. And I put water inside your physical body. We're made of water, like 60%, right? Earth is what, 70-ish, 71% water, covered with water. Our bodies are 60% water. Water's important, right? Water's our life source. But we gotta have the light also. But water is our protector. Water is representative, in this case, of you. Like your true you, your being, your spirit self, your soul, your id, the real existence of you. So the water inside here represents your life source. And the physical you on the outside that goes through so much heat and pressure and just life in general. But you see, if you had just a physical body, like that other balloon that was just a balloon with no water, if you had just a physical body, you wouldn't make it here. That's the truth of it. There's so much more to us that we don't see, but we know and we believe in to exist. Would you have believed the balloon would have stayed here over this candle with just a little bit of water in it if I hadn't shown you that? And it's still on top of the candle? Well, I'm doing this demo to show you that your spiritual you is very, very powerful. Your soul is more powerful than you know. And all those answers that you look for to get you out of the heat, you have them. You were born with them, and they stay with you. But truth is, we get lost in our day-to-day, and we're influenced constantly by everything around us. It's like gravity. They just pull us to them. You know what I'm talking about. I just want you to know that if you take care of your spiritual self, if you take care of your water, if you keep it pure for your spirit, for your body, your values, if you know who you are, your true self, and you keep in touch with your true self, it doesn't matter if I touch you to the flame. In fact, your spirit Well, actually, if I set it right there on top of that flame, your physical self might have a scar, and you might not ever be the same again. But your spirit will always be the same. Welcome to Just Do You, class number 1, Find Your Happy. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching my first episode, my first class. I now have 35 subscribers. My goal is 100, so please remember to share me. I also have to take this moment to talk about an idea that I had to raise funds. I have developed a couple of lines of t-shirts, and my favorite one is the Just Do You line, Find Your Happy, which that's the title of my first episode, Find Your Happy. All of the artwork on the shirts is from very local people who were searching for their happy when they created that piece of art. And I just thought, how awesome would it be to have that person see someone else wearing their art and sort of supporting them through wearing their art, if that makes sense. I have a Teespring store, and I'd love for you to check it out. The links are in the comments. T-shirts starting at $20, and I'm going to tithe a percentage of my profit to the local crisis intervention centers. So please check that out. If you have artwork, if you're a photographer or an artist, or even, if you're a writer and you want to write something for a t-shirt, I would love to create a t-shirt and name it in your honor. And that's what I've done with each of my designs. They each have a story, and they each have a person who inspired that design. So I want you to check that out, and I need your feedback. I really do. I need to know where my tithing is going to go. I need to know where in our community you have been or you are aware of that needs funding. And maybe even I have people who have called and said that they would be more than happy to reach out and participate in a fundraiser. So God has put good people in life for a reason. And if you're watching this right now, you're one of those good people. And you're watching for one of two reasons. Either you need to hear my message today, or you know someone who needs to hear this message today. So please share. Please share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But I better get started with the lesson, right? You know how I like to talk. Okay, finding your happy. Life lesson number 1, y'all. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. Alan Watts was quoted as saying that, and I don't know who Alan Watts was, but he was so right, because defining yourself is nearly impossible. It is. Because who you are is not a definitive. It's a variable, and it's cyclic, just like everything else is. And who you are today may or may not be who you were when you were 12 or when you were 20. It's cyclic, and it's variable, and it's very much dependent upon the influences around us during that cycle of our lives. You know that I'm right, that every other person that you encounter influences you in some way, even if it's just literally their gravity, right? Every object affects every other object, and it makes perfect sense that if you think back to the demo that I did at the beginning of class, that spiritual self, that soul, that being of you is genuine, and it is independent, and it is all yours. and yours ain't like mine, because mine's weird. Well, yours is too. We're all weird, but you get what I'm saying. All right, moving on. As you're not going to be able to find your happiness in another person. You may be happy around another person, but that's not your happiness. Your happiness has to come from within you, that spiritual self. And you have to determine your values, and you have to be able to define yourself to know how to find your happy. So, how do you do that? Right? First thing I want you to do is go get a notebook. Yeah, like this was my notebook. Go get your notebook, and I want you to start journaling. Now I know you're like, come on, Spain Hour, I did not come to this class to do work. You never did, right? But do you remember when I made you do that very first homework assignment? If you were with me the last 5 years, your very first homework assignment was to write a letter to yourself that you would open when you graduated. Yeah. If you have already graduated and read that letter, then you remember how excited you were to get that letter. And if you haven't graduated yet, you're probably contacting me, because I get people contacting me at least once a week wanting to know, where's my letter, Spain Hour? And by the way, I gave them to Miss Hazelwood, and she is taking care of those letters to self for those of you who are still left there without me. I did not forget you, and I think that maybe Miss Tuggle might also know where those letters are. So if Hazelwood doesn't, you talk to Miss Tuggle, okay? Because they were put in safe hands for you. But those letters to self are very valuable, because they let you see your growth, and they let you see that who you thought you were might not exactly be who you're going to be. So get a notebook, and in that notebook this week, your homework is, I want you to identify your core people. I want you to write them down. Your core people being those people who, if you called them today, they'd pick up the phone and they'd come to you right now. And I want you to reach out to those core people this week at least one time. Text message, quick and easy. Thinking about you, love you, friend. Reach out to those people. Tell them they're important to you. Tell them how you feel about them. You reach out to them, they're going to reach back to you, and that's going to build you up. That's where you start. Identify your core people and reach out to them this week. Okay? Now, before you write anything else in that notebook, I want you to think of the fact that we are physical. Remember the physical balloon being? We are carbon-based beings on this physical planet. And there's a lot of chemistry that goes on in our bodies that has to be regulated, and it has to have some maintenance every once in a while. The truth is, when you get yourself so far down in that rabbit hole that you can't see the daylight, your chemistry starts to change. You start to lose some of those vital chemicals that your body needs to keep you happy. And you know what I'm talking about. And that is very real. And sometimes you can change that yourself, but sometimes you might need to go see a doctor and tell them, hey, I can't find my happy. I need some happy pills. I'm not kidding. That's exactly how you tell it. That's how you start that conversation. Be real with them. They give it. Now, I gotta flip my paper over here. Here's why I want you to do this. I called Randolph County EMS, and I made a new friend there who got me some statistics to share with you, because if there's one other thing public school has taught me, it is how to look at some data. And I want to share some data with you. Randolph County EMS 911 services this year, as of 2 weeks ago now, this data is old already, January, February, March, 84 suicide threats called in to Randolph County EMS 911. 18 attempted suicides. 18. And 1 suicide already in 2019. I also asked for specific data on overdoses, because we're losing a lot of people to overdoses. And what that really means, guys, is you're trying to alter your own chemistry. This is very real, very scientific. And you know that I'm not going to tell you something that I don't know and believe in. And what you're doing is you're self-medicating. And it's not working because it's not the right chemistry. It's not the right chemicals that you need. But the statistics on overdoses were just for January and February. They didn't give me March. They just gave me January and February. 2 months. And February is the shortest month of the year. 96 calls to Randolph County alone for overdoses. There were 10 deaths in January and February in Randolph County for overdoses. I know it happens every day, and I know it happens everywhere. But I'd like to think that together we could make it happen less if we put our minds together, and we put our hearts together, and we put our funds together, and we put our resources together. So what can you do? Well, you take that notebook and you write down the last time you remember being happy. You don't have to write it in full sense form. Write it in words that only you would understand. Think about the last time you were happy, that you truly laughed and felt free of stress. Think about that time. Not the people you were with, but what you were doing. What was it that gave you that happiness? I want you to list things that bring you joy. Music, art, going out by yourself in nature, I don't know. List things that make you happy. And I want you to do this all week. You're journaling, you're happy. You're looking for where you left it, okay? And I want you to think about how long it took you to get to this point. How long did it take you to get to the bottom of the hole? It's going to take you a while to get back out. But your spirit is strong and you can do it. And there are resources and there are links attached to the comments to this video. Great people right here in our community reaching out to you and saying, hey, call me. Doesn't matter what the issue is. Call me and we'll get you the right resources. Message me on here, guys. We'll get you the right resources. Please share this with other people. And don't forget that I have a link here that gives you the document. All you have to do is click to go to those resources, okay? Phone numbers, web addresses, all of that. I guess that's it. I think I've done my first episode. Get your notebook. Next week we are going to work on defining your values, but this week we're finding you're happy. Send me artwork if you have some. I'll put it on a shirt for you. Be good to yourself. I love you, and I'll see you next week.